Like,
Hey, welcome to the energy update for December of 2024. Jeremy, hi.
hi, we made it through 2024.
Take a deep breath.
Barely. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
we were just talking and kind of reflecting um, about this past year, and I hope if when you're watching this, like hit pause right now or even after this, really to spend some time, even with a friend or your spouse or a child, just reflecting. And Jeremy, you have shared, on our podcast and here some of the health challenges and stuff that you've been going
Mhm.
on, but how you so beautifully wrapped it up was being grateful.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
cry. And we really do. Even these tough lessons, right? We need to be grateful for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not necessarily to the point that I'm grateful for it yet because this has been a really hard year, but I'm really grateful for the people in my life who've been showing up for me and have been, sending me text messages every day and just kind of being my cheerleaders because
Mm.
I've been in a pretty hopeless place over the last couple of months. So it's been really, really nice to see who's got my back. It's been really, really
Mm.
good to see, who's been there for me. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting when you go through difficult times, just pay attention to who's showing up.
Mm. It's true.
Yeah.
However, I'm guilty of being the person sometimes that doesn't know how to show up. It's like I'm afraid I don't know how to do it, and so then I don't, and then I regret it.
Well,
And
I have to call bullshit on that. That's
well, in the
maybe
past with
maybe with
other,
other people, but you definitely know how to show up for me. And I know a few people in our lives that I know who you show up for. So,
mm,
yeah, give
yeah,
yourself a little bit of credit. But that's a good point because sometimes we don't know how to show up for people.
hmm,
So, maybe it's okay to ask the people that we're wanting to show up for, how can I show up for you right now?
yeah,
What can I do? And you know
hmm,
what? Most of the time, and this is what I've noticed because the people that have been showing up for me have been asking, "What can I do? Do you want me to come over? Do you want me to just, bring some food?" Sometimes the person that is going through it, A, doesn't know what you can do to help, but B, most of the time, just that phone call or that text is
mm,
all we really need.
yeah,
So,
yeah. That's a good point.
yeah.
I like how you said that too. That's like ask how you can show up.
Mhm.
Um, because I know there's this saying, it's something I can't do. I used to say, how can I hold space for you?
Mhm.
And I can't hold space for people. It
Yeah.
puts weight on me, like physical weight. It
Mhm.
puts a burden on me if I have to hold space for somebody.
Yeah.
I'll hold the light for you. Or
Mm.
like you
Ooh, I
said,
like that.
I'll show up for you. How can I show up for you? That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So anyway, let's get to the energy update. You know me. It's like I don't like conversations to end. I just want us to
I
keep
know.
seeing
Well,
where
and
it
it's good
evolves. And
conversation to be having right now because we're coming to the end of the year and we're coming
yeah.
to this really reflective time of, okay, what did I learn? What did I learn from the energy of the dragon? What did I learn from the energy of the intensity of 2024? And what am I taking with me
Yeah, or not.
or not? What am I leaving behind?
Yeah.
What have I learned and I never have to learn again that I'm not
Hmm.
taking with me ever again? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
those are
we're
good
we're
questions.
we're going into January, and while we talked about this last month, while it seems like the beginning of 2025, it's also the end of the Chinese year of the
Yeah.
dragon. So that we're still going to be in kind of that push pull energy
Limbo.
of, okay, let's get going, but then things feel a little bit slowed down. And I think the
Mhm.
slowdown that we're going to feel is from that ox energy. The ox is moving in on what day?
I think it's the 6th, but I'm not sure.
Um, I have January 5th.
5th,
So
okay.
5th, 6th, the ox will be moving in. The ox energy gosh, we both know the ox energy. Both our husbands have ox. My son is an ox. My
Mhm.
son-in-law is an ox. Um,
Yeah.
Man, especially compared to us Aries energy, they ox moves at a different pace. It's their way, their time, all on their terms.
Yep.
Agree?
There's no hurrying an ox. Like the word hurry is futile. Don't say that word to an ox because they're going to just slow down.
Yeah. You're gonna have to you mess with the bull, you're gonna get the horns, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And especially this month because we've got, isn't it yin fire? Isn't a yin fire ox?
It's a yin
So
fire.
fire is the element of that kind of unpredictability, but fire is also the supporter of earth. And
Hmm.
since the ox is a natural earth animal, fire, when you add fire to earth, it just strengthens the oxen's resolve. So just know that everyone who has an ox in their chart, this month you're going to be especially stubborn. You're definitely going to be wanting to dig your heels in. Now, there's ways to work with this energy, right? There's ways to work with the ox. You can't tell the ox to hurry and we need to be there by 4. We need to hurry, hurry, hurry. You can say, hey, ox, what do you feel like doing today? Do
Mm,
you feel like moving? Do you not feel like moving?
okay.
And if you are moving, where are you going?
And what time do I need to be ready for you?
Yeah. Yeah, because yeah,
I
the
do
ox
feel
is a
like that.
large animal.
It's a large, they even, like, you can't budge that kind of creature. You can't just like
No.
nudge them and they're going to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Um, so I agree. I think there's this stubbornness. Absolutely. The yin fire's feeding the yin earth of the ox energy. So oxen are going to get support, which, like you said, is probably going to make him bear down even harder. I also
Yeah.
think that yin fire, though, might be just a spark. It might be a
Mm.
spark of motivation or inspiration, just a little enough to kind of light a fire under your ass, maybe to get going. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Let's hope, right? But it's important to remember to not get going on things like resolutions.
Yeah.
Because the reason why everyone shows up to the gym on January 1st and then the gym is empty by January 30th is because the ox needs something that's already going. The ox isn't going to begin any projects. The
Mm-mm.
ox wants to finish things off that you started back in October during the dog month. It wants to start things that you stop. It wants to finish things that you started in the tiger month last year
Mhm.
or in 2024. So,
Mhm.
finishing things off and helping you to kind of understand where it is you want to be working hard and putting one foot in front of the other. That's what the ox wants to continue. It wants to just continue. It doesn't want to be beginning new things.
I like that because the visual I got was it's kind of like when you're trugging along, you're you're pulling your life along with you on the trail, on the road of life. And it's like there's that final push and you need
Mm,
that ox energy just to give it that old heave ho, right? To get
yeah,
us over the hump, to get us across the finish line, to get us into next year. And I love what you said is like lightening the load. What are you carrying in your cart or your wagon or in your trunk that's just taking up space? That
yeah,
you don't even know what's back there, or it's somebody else's maybe that you're, baggage that you're carrying for them. Lighten a load. Just because the ox is capable of hard work and can persevere and get through anything doesn't mean it has to be that way.
yeah.
So, oh my gosh, I love that visual. That's really going to help me. Um, Anything else you want to say about, oh, like, I just remembered a half an hour before we came on here that we were doing this. I have no notes except for I flew the stars on a post it note. So we could talk about some of the animals though, like the
Yeah,
sheep.
let's
Where'd it
do.
go?
Let's do, because the ox has an interesting relationship with a lot of animals in the Chinese zodiac. And, in particular, we're in the middle of a dragon year right now. Well, not in the middle, we're almost to the end of it. And when the ox and the dragon get together, it creates what's called a breakup in Chinese astrology. And breakup energy um, can pertain to breakups in relationships, but it also pertains to the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new one. It's like pushing the reset
Mm.
button. So, for all of you dragons out there, this might be one of those months to pause and just say, okay, what do I need to reevaluate? Where do I want to let go of some things and maybe embrace a new path?
Because I'm thinking about your husband and mine. They have both dragon and ox
Mhm.
in their charts.
Yeah.
So
So
it's really
this might
important
be
what
one of those
pillar.
times.
What were you saying?
It might just be one of those times where people that do have an ox and dragon in their chart to be reevaluating things.
Yeah.
And as you were going to say, depending on what pillars those are affecting, that's
Mm-hmm.
really going to it's really going to be a time to reevaluate things.
Yeah, really narrow it down to
Mhm.
those things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know for my husband, his ox is in his kids' pillar, where the children are. So kind of,
Mm.
oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we've just kind of yesterday had a brief conversation around that. So it's already coming up.
Mhm.
Okay, what next animal do you want to talk about?
The horse, definitely the horse, because
Uh,
you're moaning because, well, we haven't even gotten to the dog yet. I mean, geez Louise.
well, my
Um,
husband has a horse too. So he's
right?
horse, double dragon, ox.
And you have so this is a really good time to pause for just a second and really kind of look at your four pillar chart and look at the animal of each month and ask yourself, what are your favorite months? What are months where you just feel energized and you're like, okay, this is going to be a great time? What months are you just like, oh, can we just skip this month? So maybe, maybe your husband is going to look at January and he might glide right through it, but this might be a month where he's just like, I just don't feel like doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know for me, and I know we'll get to like, because we're going to talk about the horse and the dog. I, j- I feel like I have to push really hard because it's a big
Mm,
month for me. With the
yeah.
Chinese New Year event coming up, it's just such a huge push. So I'm just going to, I feel like I have to put my dog in a corner with a bone and say, you're safe until February. You're good
Yeah.
to stay there. Don't
Yeah.
stress. Um, so I get it. I get it. Your animals
Well,
actually are in a great relationship, huh?
Well, the ox and the snake get along really well, which is good.
And your
The
rat.
my rat is secret friends with the ox, which is good, thank goodness. But I just wanted to mention one more thing about the horse. One of the reasons why the relationship between the ox and the horse is so difficult is because the ox wants to sit its ass down. It wants to put its hooves in the ground, and the horse wants to bolt. And the ox is telling the horse, "No, you can't.
Mhm.
You're not going to move." And so what's interesting is your horse is it's kind of like your horse has the rope in its teeth and it's trying to get that that ox to move. And the ox is just looking at you going, "Nope, I'm not going to move."
Damn it.
Damn it. And you're like, "No, this is the month to push. Let's do this. Let's move."
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah.
The
What's
sheep
the
is
next
definitely
animal?
gonna have a clash. So if you have a sheep
Oh
or a
yeah.
goat in your chart, the sheep and goats sit in the southwest corner. So, like, this is how I feel the energy. Like, laying out in front of me is the zodiac wheel. It's a circle.
Mm,
And if I'm the sheep, I'm sitting over here on the southwest part of that wheel. It's a compass. And over there in the northeast is the ox.
mm,
So this is my view of the world. The
mhm,
ox over there, this is his view of the world. We see things
mm.
completely different.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity for sheep and goat to pivot, to get a fresh look at things, to slow
Mhm.
down, maybe be a little bit more independent and less
Mm.
dependent on others.
Yeah. I
I think
think
it's
that's a beautiful way of looking at it.
other than
What
that.
about what about the dog?
Well, the dog, only if you have a dog and a sheep in your chart, do you have the penalty.
Mhm.
But I think the dog and the ox are just fine. You have to have those three earth animals in the chart to have the self penalty. So if you have a dog
Okay.
and a sheep in your chart with the ox coming in, then you get that.
That penalty. Yeah.
Yeah, penalty, which is kind of a bullying
Yeah.
energy,
It's
isn't it?
it, it's well, it's kind of like the dog is like trying to herd the sheep and the ox at the same time. And the ox is looking at the dog like, "Right,
Hmm.
I'm
And
not
the sheep is
budging."
like,
And
which way do I go?
the sheep is like, "What do I do?" The ox isn't moving and the dog wants me to move. So it's like the sheep
Hmm.
gets kind of trapped in the middle when you've got those 3 animals in your
It
chart.
really
So if you
does.
do,
Yeah.
just beware in January, lay low.
Hmm. You know
Sheep, sheep especially.
what's really interesting about the stars this month is the monthly stars are lining up with the annual stars, which I think
Mm,
is a really cool way to end the year. It's
yeah.
just whatever sector's really struggling this year, it's really
Mhm,
going to be peaked this month of January. It's just kind of a last like push or
mhm.
exposure or lesson to say, are you sure you got everything?
Yeah.
So the center is double threes. The
Mhm,
center of your home, of your business, of your life, there's the conflict star. It's arguing, bickering, and fighting. It's mental stress, it's mental overload. It's it's just triggering reactive energy. It's a very active
mhm.
energy and it sits in the center. And if you look at the center of the wheel or the center of the compass or the center of your home, it connects to all the other sectors, all the other areas.
Yeah.
So it's going to influence everybody.
Mhm.
So we're all being influenced that. And when I say arguing, bickering, and fighting, yeah, that's been our world for the last year because it's been the
It
annual
has.
star and now it's doubled with the monthly star. So really be careful with
Mhm.
conversations. Now sometimes I believe those conversations need to escalate. They need to get to that breaking point
Yeah.
to stir things up. Do you have
Yeah.
like when you are consulting with people and say, "Hey, here's where the 3 star is." Like what do you tell them to do or to how to
Oh,
heat it?
what you told me to do a decade ago, which is I went to I of course, the Cures kit that is
Mm,
in Tina's Etsy page, we'll leave the link below. They're already on sale for 2025. Don't
yep.
walk, run and get your Cures kit. They're available now. This is unusual because usually she waits until the Chinese New Year event. This
Mhm.
year she went a month early. So go get it.
Yeah,
It's at her Etsy shop. First
thank
and
you.
foremost, number 1. Number 2, I got a little green figurine of an elephant and I put the elephant's ear to the ground so that one is
Mm,
so that we
yes.
are in a receptive listening space. Also, one of the things that I always recommend for people, move that little green elephant around every single year. Do not put it away wherever the
Mm,
conflict star is. You put that green elephant.
mhm,
And if me and my husband are in that area and either one of us gets inflammatory with the other, we will remember to leave that area of our house and go into another area. And almost
mm,
instantly, the argument is over.
yeah.
It's crazy how that happens, but it
Mhm.
works. It
I
really
agree.
works. Let's not forget also that the center of the home represents health. And so the conflict star is affecting the health of the world right now. And we are moving into possibly another pandemic. So
Mm,
make sure that you are washing your hands, masking up when you go out in public, make sure that you're taking care of you and your family's needs when you're going out.
Yeah, great tip. I forgot about the elephant. The reason the elephant is because elephants have big ears symbolically, right? In real life. But when you lay it down, it's like how when you lay your ear down to the earth, you can hear things that you weren't hearing before. And so it's
Hmm.
really tuning in and making sure that that elephant stays laying down because some people want to go, oh, this tipped over and they want to stand it.
Every time, yeah. Every time. In fact, the other night, we had, little Christmas dinner at my house, and someone, I don't know who, it saw the little green elephant, and it stood it up in the kitchen, and at the end, I was like, "Okay, no, we've gotta put that back down." So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing how people will see it in your house, and I love it when people see it and try to stand it up because it leaves room for a conversation of,
Mm,
"Okay, let me show you why the elephant needs to be on its side, right?" So
mm.
I love it because, every little cure that you can put in your home is going to support you. It's going to support you moving through the energy of the year, working with the energy of the year, and also working with the energy of your home.
I love that you said that because that was one of the reasons I created the Cures kits was the art is, to be displayed outward and for
Mhm.
people to say, "Oh my gosh, what does that mean?" or "What's
Yeah.
that for?" And it
Yeah.
starts that conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah, so cool. Um, let's see, the 7-star double sevens in the South. So south-facing homes, if you spend time in the South or you have a horse in your chart, karma. Heal that
Mhm.
karma. Let it come forward. Even you could even sit in a meditation and bring it forth, have it placed in front of you, and ask what it needs from
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
be transmuted and created into something else, so that it doesn't have to be karma doesn't have to be played out. A lot of times, it can just be recognized and honored and gosh, we can really move through karma so differently these days. Any thoughts on
Yeah.
karma?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why I like to put the sigil, in Tina's Cures kit, there's a sigil that is the shape of the flying stars of Chinese astrology, and it's a protection sigil, and it protects that area of your home, the South, especially this year, being the area that we need to protect. And something that you told me a couple of years ago when I was worried about a specific, I was worried about the 7 star, is you said just see what shows up. See what shows up in that area of your home. And whatever shows up in that area of your life, tackle it. Take care of it, get it done, clean it up. If there's some areas that you need to clean up in your house or in your life, just clean it up. Just
Mm.
take a look at it. Don't shove it under the rug. Don't put it away in the back corner or in the back closet. Just look at it and find out what you need to learn from it.
You know what I just learned from what you just said? So you are to my south, right? You're
Hmm.
right out my south door.
Yeah.
And at the very beginning of this conversation, I talked about how in the past, I didn't show up for people.
And you've shown up for
I've
me
shown up for you
so
to help
much this
heal
year.
my karma.
Yeah.
Thanks for allowing me to show up.
Yeah. Thanks for showing
Mm.
up. It's meant the
Wow.
world to me.
Yeah, the sigil's important. That 7-star too is where break-ins happen. So,
Yeah.
secure your valuables, keep them out of that area of your house,
Yeah.
your property, that
Secure
kind of
your doors.
stuff. Yeah,
Any doors, any windows, secure, make sure they're really secure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, the 5. We got double fives sitting in the west. That's a lot of
Mm.
instability. That's a lot of having to readjust.
Mhm.
Um, it's just it's a disruption. It
Yeah.
can cause injuries, it can cause illness, but it can just disrupt life. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, I thought we were doing this, and all of a sudden now the furnace breaks down,
Yeah.
or something happens to somebody. So that saltwater cure, man, it's the best. It's the best cure, and that doesn't come in my kit. But
No.
the saltwater cure is if you don't have it, post a comment or reach out to one of us, and I'll share that with you.
Mhm.
That's a must in the West. And if you
Yep.
have a rooster in your chart, you know, if you have a rooster in your chart, I would love for you to comment below and share how maybe that instability energy has shown up for you this
Mhm.
year, and
Yeah.
maybe even this month.
Mhm.
What's really happening with those changes that are being called upon?
Yeah. Yeah. And what pillar are your roosters in? What area of
Mhm.
your life is it affecting?
Yeah, good point. Anything
Mhm.
else?
Nope, nothing that I can see, but I will
Oh,
pull a card.
pull a
Oh,
card.
one thing I did wanna mention is all of the stars that we've been talking about today, actually 2 flew out, so I'll read both of them. Oh, interesting. So one of the things before I read the cards, Tina has her Chinese New Year event that's coming up, and it's coming up in January. What's the date again?
The 24th and 25th.
24th and 25th. We'll leave the link down below so that you can purchase a ticket. Please, please
Thank you.
do, because the stars are changing. They change every year. And in fact, they change every month. So that's how we're able to kind of keep track of what's going on in our lives, what's going on in our homes, and keeping balance. Speaking of balance, 2 cards flew out. First of all is the Two of Fire. This is a partnership card. This
Mm.
really kind of helps you to understand who the people you're going to align yourself with coming into the new year.
Ooh.
Who are the people that have your back? Who are the people that really continue to show up for you? This can represent new contracts, new business opportunities. Be focusing on even though we're not going to necessarily start any resolutions or anything, this is a good year to ponder those things, or a good
Mm.
month to ponder those things. Who do I want to take with me into the new
Mm.
year?
Love that.
And then the 10 of earth is another really positive card. It says very happy home life. 10 is a completion number in the tarot. And so when we get to the number 10, it's the very end of something.
Mm.
So this is really kind of looking back on 2024 and counting your blessings. What are some of the things that you learned? Who are some of the people you want to thank? Who are some of the people that you want to love? Send them all a message today and say thank you. These
Mm.
are the people in your life that are really there for you. Um, Earth is the element of financial abundance. So this could be a good year for your finance, or a good month for your finances. So be
Mm.
looking at that as well.
I love that.
Great way
Well,
to end the year.
it is. And I know I speak for both of us. We thank you for being here with us and
Yeah,
supporting us and liking our posts, or even opening and watching a few minutes of us. We really do appreciate it. It keeps us going.
we do.
And
Yeah, it does.
we were just you just mentioned before we came on that the last time when we started this, I looked different.
Yeah, you had
I
dark brown hair.
So we've been doing this for a while, and we were just kind of
Yeah,
like, congratulating each other and high-fiving each other because we've been showing up consistently and
yeah,
just sharing what we love. It's our
yeah.
passion, it's our life, so we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. Thank you so much for watching, and please do comment below. Comment below on information you'd like to hear us that you'd like to
Mm,
hear us talk about,
yeah,
and any questions that you have about feng shui and Chinese astrology.
mm,
Pop them below.
that's right, do it. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.